Welcome, passionate football fans, to this explainer breaking down what is, without a doubt, one of the most unbelievable upsets in modern World Cup history. Seriously, we're talking about a match that's going to be etched into the minds of supporters for decades. We are looking at the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 16. You've got Norway, a team desperately fighting to prove they belong on the global stage, going head-to-head with the ultimate titans of the sport, five-time champions Brazil. And what unfolded on that pitch? It was nothing short of cinematic. We got defensive masterclasses, incredibly tense tactical chess matches, and a striking clinic that literally shattered the expectations of the entire footballing world.
To really grasp the gravity of this result, we have to talk about 1990. Just let the historical weight of that year sink in for a second. 1990 was the absolute last time the Brazilian national team crashed out this early from a World Cup. For 36 years, reaching the quarterfinals was basically just business as usual for the Seleção. I mean, entire generations of Brazil fans have never seen their team exit in the first knockout round. That alone just highlights the monumental scale of what this Norwegian squad managed to pull off.
The final scoreline from the New York-New Jersey Stadium really says it all. Norway 2, Brazil 1. We had Erling Haaland cementing his legendary status with a phenomenal brace, while Neymar provided Brazil's lone response. But listen, beyond the guys who put the ball in the net, Norway's goalkeeper Orjan Nyland cemented himself as the absolute key player of this match. Honestly, without him, this famous scoreboard looks very, very different.
Now, even before the opening whistle blew, the tactical board was shifting. For Norway, getting Julian Ryerson back into the starting lineup after he missed 2 matches with a thigh injury, that was a massive defensive boost. On the Brazilian side, Carlo Ancelotti had to shuffle his deck. He brought in the blistering pace of Gabriel Martinelli to start in place of the injured Lucas Paqueta. So, the tactical parameters were set and the battle lines were drawn.
From minute one, that first half played out like a classic high-stakes tactical duel. It was a classic unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. On one side, you've got Norway's rigid, disciplined defensive wall, anchored by Quarterfinal Orjan, and of course, Nyland in goal. On the other side, Brazil's dazzling, world-renowned attacking flair, spearheaded by Vinicius Jr. and Gabriel Martinelli. It was just a fascinating clash of styles. Norway was essentially daring Brazil to find a way through their organized ranks.
Well, if Brazil thought Norway were just going to sit back and park the bus for 90 minutes, they got a massive wake-up call right out of the gate. Just 3 minutes in, absolute chaos erupts in the Brazilian penalty area. Patrick Berg finds the back of the net, and for a fleeting, frantic second, it looked like Norway had taken an immediate, shocking lead. The celebrations were cut short, though, because it was disallowed for an offside earlier in the build-up. But hey, the message was sent loud and clear. Norway was dangerous.
And the tension was only escalating from there. As Brazil found their rhythm and started mounting some serious pressure, we got the defining VAR drama of the first half, unfolding in 3 agonizing steps. First, Ajer brings down Matheus Cunha inside the penalty box. Second, referee Ismael Elfith initially waves play on, completely waving off the furious Brazilian appeals. But then, step 3, the dreaded VAR intervention. The footage gets reviewed, the decision is overturned, and suddenly, Brazil is handed a golden opportunity.
Which brings us to a heart-stopping moment for both nations. The ball gets placed on the spot. Newcastle midfielder Bruno Guimaraes steps up. The entire stadium holds its breath. The big question hanging heavy in the East Rutherford air, could Guimaraes convert from 12 yards out and break the Norwegian resistance, or would that towering figure in the Norway goal stand tall?
He stands tall. Nyland absolutely denies Brazil. It was a massive moment that completely shifted the momentum of the entire match. Now, Guimaraes struck a pretty tame penalty, but let's take nothing away from Nyland. He read it perfectly, diving low to his left to parry the ball away. Look, in a match of this magnitude, saving a penalty against Brazil isn't just about keeping the score level. It breathes life, belief, and pure adrenaline into every single Norwegian player on that pitch.
And the crazy thing is, saving that penalty was just the opening act of the Orjan Nyland show. The guy was an absolute brick wall. He produced this crucial, sprawling touch to stop a stinging low drive from Martinelli. Later on, when the usually reliable Martin Odegaard lost possession in a really dangerous area, Nyland bailed out his captain by brilliantly using his leg to thwart Vinicius Jr. from point-blank range. He was single-handedly frustrating the entire Brazilian frontline.
Going into the break at 0-0, both managers knew they had to tweak the formula to break this deadlock. And this is where the second-half tactical chess match really heats up. Norway's Ståle Solbakken made a bold double move, throwing on Oscar Bob and Andreas Schjelderup to inject some fresh dynamism into the squad. Ancelotti, well, he answered by unleashing Brazil's teenage sensation Endrick. Both managers were desperately searching for that one spark, that one moment of magic to swing this incredibly tense tie.
And wow, Ancelotti's substitution almost paid off instantly. The immediate impact of Endrick was terrifying for the Norwegian defense. Vinicius Jr. threads the needle, sending the teenager clean through on goal. But once again, the imposing presence of Nyland rushes out, applying intense pressure. Endrick tries a delicate dink over the keeper, but pushes it just wide of the post. It was a massive let-off for Norway, but again, a total testament to how Nyland's aggressive positioning was messing with Brazil's finishing.
So, if the first 75 minutes were a tense, tactical simmer, the final 15 were an absolute boil. We are talking about a sequence of pure drama. A breakthrough in the 79th minute, a killer blow right at the 90-minute mark, and chaotic penalty drama deep into stoppage time at 90+10. Let's break down exactly how this incredible finale played out.
First up, the 79th minute tactical masterstroke that broke Brazilian hearts. Turns out, Solbaken's halftime substitution was pure genius. Step 1. Andreas Schjelderup finds a pocket of space on the left wing and delivers a pinpoint, floating cross. Step 2. Erling Haaland, showcasing his terrifying physical dominance, rises completely clean above Arsenal defender Gabriel Magalhaes. Step 3. Just pure execution. He powers a towering header right into the corner of the net. The deadlock is broken. Norway takes the lead.
But of course, a wounded Brazil is a dangerous Brazil. They threw absolutely everything forward in a desperate push for an equalizer. And in the middle of all that chaos, disaster nearly struck for Norway. A really dangerous ball into the box led to Orjan inadvertently directing it straight toward his own net. But who else? Orjan Nyland pulls off an unbelievable, spectacular fingertip reaction save to prevent the own goal. The guy just refused to be beaten from open play, keeping Norway's fragile lead perfectly intact.
And then came the moment that literally sent shockwaves around the globe, the 90th minute. With Brazil committing bodies forward, Norway finds an opening on the edge of the box. Erling Haaland doesn't even think twice. He hammers a vicious, low shot that arrows straight into the bottom corner. The stadium absolutely erupted. At 2-0 in the 90th minute, it wasn't just a lead anymore. It was the sudden, wild realization that this historic upset was actually happening. Haaland had seemingly sealed it.
But hey, nothing is ever simple in the World Cup, right? We entered stoppage time, and the emotions boiled over into pure chaos. A late, desperate elbow on Casemiro inside the box resulted in a second penalty for Brazil. Tempers totally flared, leading to a heated altercation between Neymar and Nyland right before the kick. Ultimately, Neymar kept his cool and converted the spot kick in the 10th minute of stoppage time. But it was just too little too late. The final whistle blew, and it was only a consolation goal.
The historical fallout from this 2-1 result is just staggering. First off, a huge congratulations to Norway. This marks their first ever progression to a World Cup quarterfinal. Just an incredible milestone. But for Brazil, it's a national tragedy, their earliest exit in 36 years. Plus, it continues with the fans are agonizing over as the European curse. This makes it the 6th consecutive World Cup where Brazil has been eliminated by European opposition. And finally, the Ancelotti era begins with total heartbreak. Hired to end a 24-year trophy drought, his campaign crashes out in the very first knockout round.
And look, we can't overlook the individual brilliance that made all this happen. This historic brace doesn't just rewrite team history, it blows the Golden Boot race completely wide open. Erling Haaland has brought his tournament total to a staggering 7 goals. He is now sitting neck and neck at the very top of the charts, sharing the spotlight with Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappé. Putting your name alongside those two in a World Cup tournament is the literal definition of elite company. He is having the tournament of his life.
So, what does this massive upset mean for the rest of the bracket? Well, looking ahead, the dream is very much alive for this resilient Norwegian squad. They advance to the quarterfinals scheduled for July 11th down in Miami. Their next massive test, they'll be facing the winner of the round of 16 clash between England and tournament co-hosts Mexico. Either way, it's going to be an absolute blockbuster of a matchup, and Norway is going to go into it fearing absolutely no one.
Which leaves us with one incredibly pressing thought as the dust settles on this historic night. They just toppled the 5-time champions. They have a goalkeeper in Orjan Nyland who is playing completely out of his mind, but most importantly, they have a striker who simply cannot miss right now. With 7 goals already in his pocket and a ticket to Miami officially booked, is there a defense left in this World Cup that can actually stop Erling Haaland? I guess we'll find out soon enough.